Hello, everybody, and welcome to Writing Sprint Thursdays with your host, myself, Doug Lansborough, here with Dabble, and it is a beautiful March 5th. I'm getting so good at this, everyone. I am getting so good at this. Hello, welcome. Let's see who I've got in the chat here. I know Ashley's here. Hello, and Shannon, who just got back from Disney, which is very exciting. Hello, and Bon. Hello. And Bernadette's here. Hello. And TW is just stopping in for a visit, but I'm glad that you were able to. It's always lovely to see the folks that I recognize here doing the sprints with us. We have Nikana here as well. Hello, and OG Bloodlines here as well too. Excellent. How is everybody doing today? I'm in such a good mood, everyone. It is so sunny here. We are getting like up to 14 degrees in the coming days. It's melting the snow. It is boosting my spirits. For my American friends, 14 is what, 58 maybe? Which is far from summer weather, but so much nicer than what we've been having. It's Bloodline's birthday today, so happy birthday. That is fantastic. Thanks for joining us for birthday sprints. Brianna's here as well. Welcome. And Bill, hello. Bernadette's asking when I'm moving. I am moving on the 4th of April, which is really calling me out. The only reason I knew today was the 5th without looking is because yesterday marked the month away from when we're moving. So that process literally went through my head. So it's funny that you asked that. Excellent. Okay. What are we all working on today? Let me know. I have my stuff all set up here. I ate my lunch far too quickly. We have a meeting on the first Thursday of every month, and then I need to, do normal human being stuff like take care of my dog, to wash dishes and stuff. And so by the time I realized what time it was, I scarfed it down too quick. So if you see me go green, that's why. But I'm sticking to it. Okay, Bond's working on your 60-day novel challenge manuscript, which is excellent. I'm finishing up between today and tomorrow. I'll be finishing up the read of my work in progress that I'm working on, and then we're going to go into writing some new scenes, fixing some old scenes, and then we're going to go into working on the prose, and then bada bing, bada boom. Actually, well, then it goes to beta readers and then a final proof. And then it goes to a copy editor. And then I format it and I get my cover designer to make the cover for me. And then I publish it. So, it'll be out soon. Sooner or later. Let's see what else is going on in the chat. I did share the link to the sprint in the chat. You'll also find all three of them down below me because we, as always, are on deck for 3 20-minute sprints today with 5-minute break in between, starting with this initial 5-minute one. But hey, this initial 5-minute one is almost over. We got a minute and a half left. And as Bond says here, remember to hit the thumbs up button for me being here with a sore tummy. Bernadette's merging all your inside outlines and analyzing the arc. Excellent. I hope the coaching is going well. Hilder's here. Welcome. Shannon's plotting book 3 of the series, character development day. Excellent. Nakana's writing a post-apocalyptic winter scene. I love that. Rain, hi Rain, working on a new figure skater story. That's excellent. Christina, hello. Athena, hello. Athena says you're late, but no, you're not. You're not, because we still have a minute until the first sprint starts. So you're a-okay. Yeah, Ashley, as far as negative things go, I'm doing all right, I think. Especially compared to how your days normally go. NJ's here saying hello, excellent, welcome. And Ashley's working on a Dead Dove fanfic. I don't even know what Dead Dove is, so I'll take a look at it. Excellent. Okay, we have 25 seconds left, and I do have not necessarily a Dugget, kind of a bit of a Dugget, a bit of a discussion thing, inspired by something that's actually happened in the chat here. But I'm not going to tell you what it is, because then we'd have to launch into a discussion and do that, because timer's a beat. The the sprint is a starting. I'll see you all in 20 minutes. Bye for now. All right. That is our first sprint of the day done. There we go. How'd that go, everyone? Um, Let me check in on the chat here. Oh, Keo joined us. Hey, Keo. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Always great to have you, especially because we moved days specifically so you could be here for my writing sprints. Okay, so that I got a total of -4 words there, which is good because I'm supposed to be revising. But let me drop the link to the second sprint in the chat. You'll see again the links are all down below me in the description for you to join whichever one we're in, even if you don't see it in the chat there. We have some good numbers coming in here. That's fantastic. Awesome. Danny's here too. I don't think I said hi to Danny before. Hey, Danny. And Sir Good Sir is here as well. Hello, hello. Um, and you have today off. Excellent, Keo. Fantastic. Okay. One of the things that I want to talk about, inspired by something that Bond said before the show even started, and I'll pop this up here. Howdy has a whole different meaning here in Houston, especially this time of the year. And as someone who doesn't live in Houston, who has never been to Texas, who often says howdy just for fun, I have no idea what you mean by this, Bon. I, I don't know why Houston is different. I don't know why this time of year affects the meaning of howdy. And you're welcome to share. That is, excellent. But the point is that dialect and like where someone is from, how they're brought up, the circumstance that they're in plays such a big role in how they communicate. Even if they say the same thing, they could mean something completely different. Now, everyone's heard in real life, like body language is 70% of our communication. I say waving my hands around, something along those lines. It is a big portion of it. And we don't have the benefit of a reader being able to see how our characters are flailing their hands about on screen when they're reading a book. We can describe it, but that can get very clunky, right? You add in some description, but you can't stop and say every time Doug moved his hands around or wiggled his fingers or clapped his hands together, like it gets a bit much. You just say he was animated or he spoke with his hands at the same time, right? So, one of the ways that we convey more authentic, engrossing communication is by focusing on the character's voice. And we have a whole course about this, about writing dialogue. We have a workshop recording on this. We have a bunch of articles about voice as well. But it's something that I really want you to think about because each character communicates in a different way, or they should be communicating in a bit of a different way. They use different slang, they use regional dialectics that no other character does. I'm listening to The Way of Kings right now by Brandon Sanderson, and I just got to the first interlude, which that's a whole other conversation that this man can go ahead and put interludes into his already long story. That's different. That's a different structured conversation. But it's about these folks in a fishing village, and I haven't gotten very far into it, so no spoilies from my folks in the chat here. But immediately, it makes me think of people from the east coast of Canada or from Newfoundland and Labrador, and the way not only that they speak, but the way that they interact with one another, and how culture has evolved in particular places and made people act and thus communicate in different ways. So it was really cool because I love the East Coast. Every time I go to the East Coast, I want to move out there. But I'm getting sidetracked. The point is, voice for a character is very important. Dialect is an element of voice, but voice itself is very important. And the part that I was just revising from my own story, it leaned heavily on voice too. It was very appropriate here, but not just the character's voice, which I needed to know to have it from his perspective, but he has been corrupted by this sickness. And so, how do I now mesh his voice that has already been established with this corruption of his personality and this influence of this sickness that he has? And that's a lot of fun. That's where some of the gold is in writing. So think about it. Think about it. See how you can buff up your dialect or your voice skills. Like I said, we have a course and a workshop recording on dialogue. Um, but just thought that it was worth mentioning because our next sprint is starting soon. Brianna's saying that Ash said if it's been out for longer than 6 months, you can do spoilers. Not when I'm listening to it, you can't. All right. Let me pop up my sprint here. 20 minutes on the clock. I will talk to you all when we're done. Hope you enjoyed that, Dug It. Bye for now. All right. And that is our second sprint of the day done. Excellent. Let's check in on the chat here. Keo said before, or as the first sprint was starting, good old casual plug of a workshop. Not just a workshop, a course as well, for the record. And saying it's not a Doug stream unless I throw in a casual, shameless plug of all my wonderful resources. And you know what? You're absolutely right. And I am unabashed about it. Rosalinda's here. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you could join us. Shannon has had to split, but I'm glad that you could join us as well. That's fantastic. I see some great numbers coming in here. Awesome, awesome. Great work, everyone. Athena asking the real questions here. Why am I faster at world building than actual writing? There's a lot less stress when it comes to that. And it's all imagination. It's all just making things up. It's not worrying about if the arc makes sense, if the words come out pretty. It's just pure imagination. Berlin's here. Welcome, welcome. Got 10 words in. Hey, that's 10 words more than you had just a couple minutes ago. Oh, I didn't realize that, sir, good sir. see, someone changed their name on me. My boss would be proud of my marketing skills, says my boss. That's good old Robert Smith right there, everyone. You sneaky, sneaky guy. Robert has been badgered by me, but not quite as much lately about getting his book done because we have a revision pact going on. And lucky for him, I've been taking my sweet time getting through this initial read, and I just read more slowly. There is this really interesting thing. This isn't a Dug It, but I think it was cool, and I want to share it. Hank Green is the author, one of those twins, I think, right? Put out a video, and in it he spoke to, what's his name? Cam, the guy that wrote Deep Work. Oh, it's going to come to me in a moment. Anyway, he teaches at some university, but he said in this interview that that writing and reading are things that we cannot naturally do, and the act of learning how to write and read it requires rewiring of our brains. The comparison he gave is that instinctively human beings have evolved to recognize places that we've been, or how to get places, or fight or flight or freeze, like these things that are natural to us. Writing and reading are not natural. They don't exist out in nature. They're things that we have developed, and because human beings haven't actually been around for that long, our brains still have to be molded to understand how to do these things. And I guess I'll turn this into a Dug It, with the asterisk that our brains, being the pliable things that they are, even if you mold it to do something really well, if you don't practice that thing, then you don't stay as good at it. And you're here doing sprints with me, so you're practicing writing, or you're practicing the art of storytelling, because you might be revising or world building or whatever you happen to be doing, which is excellent. But it is my chance to also just say, hey, make sure that you're also reading. I am such a sucker for audiobooks. I love them. I listen to them on my walks. It gets me out. But I am a really, really poor author when it comes to reading a physical book. I'm very slow at it, and one of the reasons I'm very slow at it is because I haven't done it consistently for a while. This isn't to say that you have to make reading a chore or another task on your to-do list, but just be aware. I thought it was interesting that it's not something that's natural, that it's something that does require rewiring of the brain, and just to keep in mind that it can decay if you put it off. And I think as authors, we should be reading a lot anyway, and that goes for listening to audiobooks, but also reading books. And that's my goal. So Cal Newport, yes, thank you, sir, good sir, Robert. Bernadette's missing that navigation gene. Excellent. Okay, awesome. So we have 10 seconds left. Let me pop up my screen here. This is our last sprint of the day. 20 minutes of more deep work, as Cal Newport would have said or does say. Um, I'll talk to you all in 20 minutes. Bye for now. All right. And that is our third and final sprint done for today. There's Doug. How did that last sprint go for everyone? How did the grand total of sprinting go for you all? I got through. Actually, let me just do a quick check here. I did 1, 2, 3, 4 chapters, maybe, if my math is math in there, which is fantastic. Feeling very good. I've thoroughly been enjoying my own story, which is a great sign, because sometimes you just don't enjoy your own writing. But this has been good, and I'm excited. There's a lot that I need to add. Actually, I'm finding more and more there are scenes that just need, a few hundred more words to wrap up. But I'm looking forward to writing them, and I'm looking forward to having this book done and getting it published later this year. Some great numbers coming in the chat here. That's excellent. Now, couple things before I forget. First, make sure if you join me in wordsprints.org and any of the sprints that we did today, you copy and paste your words out of there and into your Dabble project or whatever program you use to write your books. They will stay in that sprint for 24 hours and then poof, they are gone. So make sure you grab them. Second, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. If you wrote, let's say, 100 words or more, or if you deleted any words, if you're doing some editing. If you didn't hit any of those criteria, then you're off the hook. You don't need to hit the thumbs up, but I ask that you do anyway because that helps YouTube share what we're doing here with everyone else so that we can get more new people in here so that we can keep doing this really cool stuff. So please, a thumbs up would be much appreciated. Subscribe if you are not subscribed. And then the last thing is me dropping a link in the chat here because in about 15 minutes, just shy of that, Hank and Abby are having a fireside chat where they are discussing building story Bibles. So go ahead, hop on over there, say that Doug sent you, say hi for me. Tell them to do some shameless plugs of their own because that's their job as much as it is mine. And then maybe the boss will be in their chat too and be very proud of them. As Bernadette says here, it's always a pleasure. I mean, she says it's always a pleasure seeing my face, which I have to agree. It's a good face, but it's always a pleasure being here with you all. I appreciate that you join me, that you work alongside me, that we get to do this work together and pursue our passions together. And yeah, I just really appreciate it. So check out Hank and Abby's fireside chat. If you're a W Academy member, you have a new resource coming your way on Monday that you can be looking forward to. Otherwise, I'm back here at the same bat time, same bat place. Actually, different bat time, depending on where you live in the world. Because here in most of Canada and the US, we're going through a time change this weekend. So when it comes to events next week, make sure you check ahead of time because we're springing forward an hour. So you may find yourself not coming at the right time if you want to join an event. So just be aware of that. Time change affects us all in terrible ways. So we can commiserate about that next week. For now, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I will see you all later. Bye, everyone.